Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. I am ready for the event.
Brad Pitt, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Brad. How do you hear me?
Hey, Brad, this is Nick. I've got you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Thank you very much. I got to tell you, this is a real treat. Real pleasure to be talking to you up there.
Hey, likewise, a treat for us. Actually, we got a chance to sneak preview the movie a few weeks back, and just want to start off by saying thank you for what you're doing to contribute to the mission of awareness and to set that, light that fire in the imaginations of the next generation of explorers. Thank you,
Nick. Thank you very much. And now that I have you all the way up at the space station, let's talk about me. How do we do? How was our zero G?
I got to tell you, it was really good. And the depictions, the settings, all, as you can tell, look very similar to the type of setting I've got around me. I got to imagine it was a lot easier for me to kind of enjoy the zero G than it was you, whether it was CGI or hooked to strings.
I'll tell you what, our ship was a bit cleaner. Do you know what everything is on the walls there behind you?
When I first got up here, it looked similar but very different, if you can imagine that, to what we train on in the ground. We had lots of photos on the ground, but up here everything hangs off the walls and there's cables everywhere. But yeah, you get very familiar with it and you know exactly what's going on. A lot of it is storage of equipment, and then we've got different facilities. For instance, this one right here, this wall, helps us research how flames burn in space, which is very different than on the ground. And by removing the effect of gravity forcing a certain shape to a flame, we can study exactly what goes on to inside a flame to a greater detail. Helps us figure out how to make cleaner burning engines, and get more out of the energy that we do consume.
I was curious, what are the certainly, what are the repercussions on your body in zero G? First of all, would it be morning for you there? Would it be night for you there? How do you gauge your waking hours if you see 16 sunrises and sunsets a day?
So we do a lot to try to manage that circadian rhythm. One thing we do is we use different hues of the color spectrum so that we have morning, very bright blue light that we switch, and then later in the day it goes to a more normal, more balanced spectrum, and then at night we get rid of that blue light. And we all follow the Greenwich Mean Time, and that's to help synchronize, the international aspect of this. We've got a control station in Houston, in Huntsville, Alabama. Then we've got control centers in Japan and in Germany and in Russia and up in Montreal, and all of them need to operate on the same time, so we picked Greenwich Mean Time. But really, if you're not smart and you're new to the station, you run to the windows and you want to check things out right after you get done with your workday. You get a face full of sun. It gets very difficult to go to sleep for a couple hours with all that blue light.
Wow, I would think so. So is there a night shift, or is everyone on those hours?
Yeah, so we try to the crew stays on the same workday hours, and so we work a 12-hour workday. Starts at about 7:30 in the morning and finishes at about 7:30 in the evening. But there is a night shift. There's actually a massive team on the ground that is controlling about 95% of what happens on the space station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is an amazing orchestration of an international program that comes together to truly achieve something that we can't do alone. And it's through that strength and diversity, or strength through diversity, that we're able to have, successfully operated this station for 2 decades.
It's incredible. I got to go to JPL last week, and it was on the day when India was landing on the moon, and the United States were assisting them in that effort. Could you see that from where you are?
No, unfortunately. So I, along with the rest of the crew, just had to follow along with the news reports. And it's one of those things where international cooperation is so important, because a saying we've got up here is space is hard. Things that should be easy, when you try to do them in space, they just get harder. And the things that we're trying to do every day. The team on the ground, NASA and its international partners, do a great job of making really hard, almost impossible things look routine. And it's one of those things where you can get some complacency, but the things that we're able to achieve together it's something special. For me, that is the biggest thing that I've pulled from this mission, is that idea of cooperation at a global scale is what's going to propel humanity into the future.
I got to see a little of that. They were working on the new rover that's going to go to Mars, and it was an international effort, which was really impressive to see everyone working together to build different components to this rover. What are your current missions at this point?
Yeah, so I'm actually on the tail end of my time up here. I've got a 200-day mission on board the space station, and I'm north of 180 days now, only a few weeks left before I return early in October. And on a routine week, it's a lot of different science experiments. We do maintenance to maintain the station. I was fortunate enough a few weeks back to be able to do my third spacewalk, and those are all just amazing experiences. And every day is full of something new and exciting. If you look at the spectrum of experiments that you get to do over the course of the mission, I've got to be involved with the looking at different ways to develop new types of rubber that will change the way potentially we make tires and make cars more fuel efficient, or how we extrude fiber optics to help improve communications technology on the ground and make it more cost effective, to all the way to the other end of the spectrum where we've done gene editing, and we're looking at things that are going to help us push for cures for Alzheimer and cancer. And so it just spans this whole spectrum. And growing up on a farm, I never would have thought that I'd be able to be involved with things like that.
It really is extraordinary. By the way, you're from Kansas, I'm from Missouri, so we're neighbors.
It's a good part of the country. I've taken lots of photos of it over the past 6 months.
I bet. Congratulations on 200 days. What is that like on the psyche? What is that? I'm sure you're always busy, but at the same time missing family and loved ones at homes. How do you keep your mental state at peace?
Yeah, absolutely. Being apart from your family, your friends, your loved ones is a challenge. And one of the luxuries I think we have of working in low Earth orbit, close to the Earth, is the amount of connectivity that we have, the ability to make phone calls and check in on a routine basis. To every weekend being able to do a video conference with my kids and share a little bit of the experience up here with them, but also be a part of their life and understand what they're going through on the ground, so that we have shared experience, and at the end of 200 days you can come home and return to being a normal family. Those are the challenges. It's easier here in low Earth orbit because communications is almost without delay. As we push further and deeper into space, those challenges will become more difficult with communications delays and just being able to stay in contact with those friends and loved ones.
Yeah, to me it sounds harrowing and really challenging. I'd read astronauts speak about looking back on the Earth and really being aware how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. Did you have a similar experience or something different?
That's one of the special things about being up here, is being able to float over to the window and see the Earth below, to look down 250 miles and with your naked eye you can see the crop circles in Kansas, in Missouri, and you can see you can see humanity below you, and you can see it glide by as we go screaming through the sky, at 5 miles a second, and just take in. You get a perspective that you're away from the Earth. And then same view, you can see the moon rising over the horizon, and you get this idea that I'm not on the Earth, and I'm not at the moon, but I'm just kind of in the cosmos. And then that perspective really challenges you, because now you're looking down at everything that you've ever known, all of humanity right there, and you have this deep appreciation for how big the universe really is. And for me, it's just made me cherish and appreciate how delicate and how precious the little island we live on really is.
I think that's really beautiful to hear.